Reddit post 1. I was getting groceries when I saw this high school bully of mine. Years had gone by and he was not looking as tough as he would act when we were young. There was a woman next to him picking up fruit as they went by. I followed them all over the grocery store and then stood behind them in the line. Years ago, he has ambushed me in the hallway and started throwing punches to impress his girlfriend. He was acting like I had looked at her and he was beating me up for it. That girl came between us telling him to stop it. I had my backpack on, so my shoulders were weighed down. He never allowed me to take the bag off and started throwing punches. His girl started cussing his out and broke up with him. But I had eaten a number of blows to my face, and my lip was pretty smashed and bleeding. He would walk around all puffed up telling everyone that anyone who ends up looking at his girl will get it from him. She had already broken up with him. Now, years later, he was with another woman who seemed a bit upset at him for something I could not understand. I introduced myself, and he recognized me. He expected trouble, so he introduced me to this woman, his wife of girlfriend, as if we were long-lost buddies. I shook her hand and told her that he used to beat me up to impress his girlfriend. Then I told her that he would not do that now, because he knows that I will kick his ass in front of you. They both laughed, but it was obvious to both that this was not funny. The guy was so nervous because he probably thought that I would insult his woman to provoke him and then kick his ass. I am not going to do that. I was very respectful to her and we chatted a bit and I left. He got the message. Reddit post 2. First of all, I'm not going to excuse myself since I know I did bad, but here is a little context. My dad always wanted a male child as his firstborn. He was a little disappointed because I was born a woman, but that never stopped him from loving me. His way of raising me was practically like that of a boy. He taught me to fight at 7 years old. He took me to his soccer games, among other things. I never liked football or anything related to cars. Instead, I liked things related to fights. So from the age of 14, he put me in a mixed Muay Thai academy. At first, it was quite difficult, but I ended up adapting. Yes, I received a lot of beatings. Sometimes I ended up holding back the urge to cry after training or friendly fights, but I felt fulfilled with that. Now, my sister is the complete opposite of me. She was raised in a more permissive way. Of course, I never raised my hand against her when we had the typical sister arguments, although she did use to push me or try to make me fall, although she always unsuccessful in her attempts. This weekend, our parents went on a trip and they left me in charge of her. On Saturday afternoon, she wanted to go out with her boyfriend. I told her to go out. But if she is going to return on Sunday, it should be before our parents return. I didn't say it with bad intentions. I knew what she was going for. But for some reason, she got defensive and started attacking me with my love life, in which I have always had problems because boys usually break up with me for not being very feminine, even though I am very effective. I told her to calm down, but for some reason every time I told her she kept bothering me. I told her to shut up once and for all, and it occurred to her to slap me saying not to give her orders. I started to see red and I looked at her. I had never been slapped in my life, not even by our dad. I told her, do it again, I dare you. And when she tried, I grabbed her and knocked her to the ground. I told her that get up, this was not over. Every time she got up and tried something, I just grabbed her and threw her to the ground again and again. I was in a state where I was aware of what I was doing, but at the same time I couldn't stop myself, no matter what. Everyone that has been in a fight should know what I mean. Before I knew it, I saw her crying on the floor, hugging herself, practically begging me to stop and asking for forgiveness. I immediately returned to my senses. I was glad she didn't have any severe injury, just some scratches in her lips and cheeks. I hugged her and apologized for what I did. I even began to cry hugging her. At the end, she didn't go with her BF. She stayed in home with me but didn't say a word since then. Every time I look at her, she only moves away and avoids me. She told our parents that she fell down the stairs. I know her limbs hurt because I notice how she limps, but she won't let me help her or get close to her. I know I overdid it, but I don't know what else to do to apologize, and that's affecting me too. Reddit post 3I, 19 embrace and had a group of friends. Let's call them Emily 19F, Lily 19F, and Evie 18F. We were the best friends. We talked about everything in our lives. If something bad happened, we were there one for another, but everything changed after some time. You see, I never was this girly guy. I've always wanted to be myself, but every time I was judged for my actions. For example, If I would tell a joke that was just a little bit inappropriate, Lily would shout at me. But I was ignoring all of these red flags. Anyway, I was honestly really happy because I know that there will be always someone for me. But everything changed when we went for this trip. Long story short, they abandoned me, and I was really furious on them. I didn't scream or anything, I just said to them that this is something what friends shouldn't do to each other. Well, and after that day, they've stopped talking to me. For 2 weeks I've felt into the depression and was thinking that our friendship is over. But boy, I was wrong. This was when things started to go down. Everything. In our country, we got this celebration of graduation from high school on which me and Lily were supposed to do the seating order. So we put our parents to one table, but she changed it last minute without telling me, to separate my parents from their parents. There I started to seeing this signs that something is wrong. And probably 2 weeks after the celebration, our whole class went for weekend into cabin for strengthening the collective. I'm not gonna lie, but I really liked it, and I thought that everything is going the right way. But after this weekend, they just cut contact with me. And it really hurt me. They didn't tell me what happened or anything, just cut contact. I was really suicidal, have few failed attempts behind me after this, but I somehow managed to survive. I also found out what ended our friendship. It was a rumor that Lily spread among the girls. She accused me of touching her, and I don't know what else. I was really disgusted when I heard it, not only because it's not in my nature, but also she's a pretty hippo-weight girl. Let's just say that that's nothing for me. But now I'm starting to be happy again. I've met a girl which I will call Sarah, 19F. Sarah and I have many things in common, and I felt loved. And now I'm starting to love her, but we got one problem. And that's distance between us. We spent one weekend together, and that's it. Nothing more. There's a call from time to time, but that's it. And I really want to meet with her more often, but since we were together, she started to be more distant. It went from all day talking to just a few chats, and I don't know if it means that she wants to cut contact with me or not. I can clearly see that since Lily accused me, and this group stopped talking to me, I've become really paranoid. It really fucked my mind, and I hate myself for that. Should I ask Sarah what we should do, what's happening, or am I just being paranoid? What should I do? Also, thanks for reading it down here. English is not my primary language, but I hope that it all makes sense.
Reddit post 4. The story I'm about to tell is what I've been through last year, and it changed my life completely. Last year in December, I matched on Tinder with an US military guy who was on deployment in my city. Let's call him Tyler. We talked pretty good, so we decided to hang out. We went on a few dates. Everything was perfect. It was like we were meant for each other. At one of the dates, I asked him, what were we? He said that we can be together while he's here, but he doesn't do long-distance relationships. I said okay for the moment. I was hoping to change his mind till he'll have to leave. We got close. He spent every day off he had with me. He met my parents and slept at my place many times. I ended up loving him. I told him that, but I didn't expect him to say it back. At the beginning of February, he told me that he had some things to tell me. His name is not Tyler, but because he is in the military, he had to lie about certain things. He was married but now divorced. He told me that he loves me, but he doesn't want to end up loving me because he will have to leave. I was a little shocked, but being my first military guy, I said that maybe lying about things is normal. I got over it because I loved him. We continued to get closer. Basically, all his days were spent with me, at my place. In February at the end, he told me that he has to go back to the States because his deployment ended. I was devastated. We saw each other for the last time and we both cried all day. I told him to think about a long-distance relationship. It really seemed like a very difficult breakup. After he arrived, you will find out later why I said arrived. Back home, he talked to me for 1 week and then told me that he can't do a long-distance thing. I kept trying, hoping that he might change his mind. I've never had such strong feelings for someone. Although he ghosted me, I kept texting him every day. Good morning, good night, L love you, I'm waiting for you. I was having a very hard time. I just couldn't get over him no matter how much I tried. I was crying every night and I got to the point of having depression. He ghosted and ignored me for 2 months and I felt miserable for 2 months for not being enough for him. I put Tinder on my phone again. I was trying to find someone on Tinder who could take Tyler a present. because it was his birthday in a few months. I found a coworker of him and another guy. I will call him Ryan. Ryan wasn't from the same base, so he couldn't take the present to him. But we got along pretty well and talked every day. I talked to Tyler's coworker, and he agreed that when he leaves home from the deployment, he would take the gift to Tyler, although Tyler was still ghosting me. But his coworker didn't agree to take the present for free. He asked for sex. I still loved Tyler, so I refused. He asked for nudes. I agreed. I really wanted for that present to get to Tyler, so Elle was desperate. Then I waited for his coworker to go back to the States. Meanwhile, I started going out with Ryan as friends. Tyler found out about the nudes from his coworker and came back to me very mad, yelling about how can I do something like that when I texted him every day that I would wait for him. I told him that I was really sorry, but I was desperate. I really wanted him to have his birthday present. We ended up talking again. He told me he loved me, so I told Ryan that I made up with him and we should stop hanging out. He said he totally understand. I haven't spoken to Ryan in a while. I was again happy with Tyler. Everything was perfect again. I asked him if he wanted me to visit him in July, October. He said yes, so we made plans. I bought the plane tickets, got the U.S. visitor visa also. But one day, out of nowhere, he told me that he couldn't get over the fact that I sent his coworker the nudes. He ghosted me again. I started talking to Ryan again and hung out. Being vulnerable about everything that happened with Tyler, me and Ryan got very close. I started to have feelings for him. After a while, Tyler decided to talk to me again. In July, Tyler ghosted me again for no reason. I was still going out with Ryan. 5 days before the flight, Tyler told me that he doesn't want me there. That's when I started sleeping with Ryan. I was heartbroken. Obviously, I didn't go to the States because there was no point in spending my time there alone, and I lost the money for the plane and accommodation. Ryan and I started going on trips and be all the time together. He ended up telling me that he cares about me and that he has love for me, but he doesn't want a relationship. Tyler found out about Ryan and came back, saying that he cannot see me with another man and that he loves me. I told him that I can't trust him after what happened, and that he will have to be all in with me if he wants me. But I won't give up on Ryan, because he was there for me and helped me with the depression, but me and him will be just friends. He said that's okay, he's all in. I knew I couldn't trust Tyler though, so Elle kept hanging out with Ryan and sleeping with him. Tyler and I started making plans again. He bought a plane ticket to come to my country in November, and also bought me a ticket for us to go together in the States in December. Ryan knew that I was making plans with Tyler, but I always told him that I don't trust him and that I didn't want him. I loved Ryan, but at the same time it was hard for me to get over Tyler and trust him. Tyler was starting to tell me that he can't do this if I don't give up on Ryan, that he can't get over the fact that I slept with Ryan. Tyler and me had some fights. I was trying to explain to him that if Ryan wasn't here for me, right now I would have been in a mental hospital or something, so he dropped it. Ryan had to leave at the end of September. He told me he loves me, but doesn't want to have a relationship with me. I tried to move on, but I loved him. Right after Ryan left, Tyler told me that he can't do this, even though he said that he was all in and that he wanted us to break up. I was heartbroken once again. In the meantime, I found out that Tyler did not leave in March when he said he left back to the States in June. So I was crying and struggling all that time, and he was a few kilometers away from me. I haven't spoken to Tyler since then. I asked Ryan if he wants me to visit him, and he said yes. I went to visit him in December, and everything was very nice, but he kept giving me mixed feelings. He was treating me like we were in a relationship, but at the same time telling me he doesn't want one. After I got home, he told me that he's really grateful he met me and I made his deployment awesome, but that's in the past and he doesn't want to see me anymore. So basically 2 guys fucked with my feelings in the same year, and I swear that 2023 was the worst year I had in my life. And as much as I try to understand exactly what happened, I can't. I have so many unanswered questions. I really want some opinions on everything that happened. Also, sorry for my English, it's not my first language.